My name is Tatum. I have two daughters that are amputees. And if you are watching this video right now, it is probably because you came from one of my other videos and you're curious as to why one or both of my girls are amputees and what the story is. Simple answer is that both girls were born with a condition called fibular hemimelia that caused them to be missing bones in their lower legs that led to amputation. The more complex story is that they have fibular hemimelia. The fibular hemimelia is where the fibula is either partial or doesn't grow, and it causes deformity of that lower leg of the bone. And depending on the severity of the case, some people amputate, some people try to reconstruct. It really just depends on what the person and their doctors decide is best for that child. Fibular hemimelia is not a genetic condition. I take that back. Everything's genetic. Fibular hemimelia is not a hereditary condition, meaning it is not passed down from parents. We have done every test there is available to be tested when it comes to me, my husband, and our girls, and every test came back clear that there is no genetic link, no hereditary link found on my husband or I and the girls. Nothing in their genetics that shows anything as to why they would have this limb difference. It is a spontaneous mutation that happens in the first 4 weeks of gestation. When the limb buds are growing, then just something happens, like a blip happens, and that bone doesn't form correctly, and it just kind of creates a deformity in that limb or both limbs. That is basically what it is. 1 in 40,000 live births a child is born with fibular hemimelia. It is extremely rare. And it is even more rare to have 2 children with this condition. So you have a 1 in 40,000 chance, any person who is able to have a child, any woman who can give birth, has the chance of having a child with fibular hemimelia. 1 in 40,000. The chances of having a second child with fibular hemimelia are 1 in 1.6 billion. So we were the 1 in 1.6 billion. I will say this. I feel like we hit the lottery twice with my children. My girls are amazing. They do amazing things. Not only that, but I firmly believe that my girls were meant for each other. There are so many amputees in this world, whether it be congenital, which means they were like born with it, or amputees that became amputees because of other reasons after they were born. But so many amputees feel alone in this world. So many amputees don't have somebody else to relate to. My girls have each other. I firmly believe that there is a reason why we were one of the 1 in 1.6 billion. There are only 6 families, including us, in the world with reported cases of biological siblings both having this condition. We are one of them. Seeing my girls together tells me that they were handpicked for each other. That's all I can say. I have no other explanation other than they were meant for each other. And there's no scientific excuse for it. There is no studies as of now in 2024 with all the technology that we have. There is no studies showing anything that this is hereditary. There is nothing showing they can pass this down to their children. Nothing. I feel that they were put on this earth to be here for each other. That being said, also I will say my daughter, my 3-year-old Dakota, also has her left arm affected. That is called ulnar dysplasia, and it's very similar to fibular hemimelia, but the arm version. So she is missing the little bone in her arm, which made her little arm shorter and then only made one finger grow. Again, just like fibular hemimelia, people who have ulnar dysplasia have all different presentations of how their upper limb presents itself. She just happens to have one absolutely adorable little finger. It's the cutest thing I've ever seen in my life, and nobody can ever tell me any different. So that being said, I will say that oftentimes in my videos, I will refer to Dakota as having Fatco syndrome. Both my girls have fibular hemimelia. That is their diagnosis. Dakota's condition is also falls under the Fatco syndrome bracket. Fatco syndrome is not a genetic diagnosis. Fatco syndrome is just a acronym for basically more than one long bone affected. So in my videos, when I say Kennedy has fibular hemimelia and then somebody asks about Dakota and I'll say Fatco syndrome, that's just because I'm referring to her legs and her arm. So sorry this video was so long. If you stayed until the end, thank you and I appreciate you. And that is the story. My girls are amazing and nobody can tell me any different.